What's up, everybody? Bandit and Chad here for another Taco Tuesday, and we have kind of an interesting topic to talk about today that we just kind of came up with spur of the moment here. But it's how well already these third-gen trucks are holding their value. Now, obviously, when the third-gen trucks came out, the second-gen values dropped pretty significantly. Right. You know, you saw really up to about a $5,000 decline when the third-gens came out for those second-gen trucks. And since then, I mean, there's still a pretty good penny to go ahead and buy one of those, but you know, we've seen first gen trucks still going for 12 grand, 13 grand.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous prices, especially with these first gen Tacomas with the double cab and the short bed. That was the only option that you could get with them back then. Those are going for $10,000-$12,000, and you don't see much for less than that.
Right. So definitely, you know, no matter what generation of Tacoma you have, they're definitely going to bring a lot of money. And what got us thinking about this is they're actually a local dealer here that has a used Tacoma. It's a 2016 TRD Sport with the manual transmission and access cab. And it's a 2016 with 33,000 miles, and they're asking over $30,000 for it. I think it's $32,500, $33,000, somewhere in there. But we just thought that's really a lot of money, because we're pretty sure that the MSRP on that thing would have been about that price.
Right, around brand new price for something like that is very comparable to what they're asking for. So obviously Tacomas, as we've said, hold their value very well, but that is a price that kind of shocked us for a used one that's now almost 2 model years out of date. The 2018s will be probably coming out within the next month or so. So we were just kind of shocked by that.
Right, and the two things that really add price quicker than anything else is the packages and the transmission. You know, going with one of these automatics adds about 2 grand to the price tag, and then going with the technology and convenience package, if you choose to get that like I did on my truck, again, that's another 2 grand or so. So this truck didn't have either one of those, and they were still asking close to $33,000 for that. So that's pretty wild, and it really is a testament to how desirable these trucks are, whether they're new or used or what have you. But you know, dealers aren't keeping trucks on the lots very long, and apparently that's a response to consumer demand and everything else. So really interesting, we thought, you know, especially for that new of a truck to hold its value that well. You know, normally they say when you drive a vehicle off the lot, it drops, you know, up to 20% sometimes. And these are dropping, you know, maybe a couple $100. So it's just really wild that's even a possibility here in today's market without much competition out there.
So keeping you all updated with my truck and the needle bearing for my front differential, I still haven't gotten called by the dealership that is going to be doing the work for it. Hopefully I'll hear from them this week, and if I don't hear from them maybe by midweek, I might just give them a call and see if the parts have by chance come in yet and they just forgot or meant to call me or whatever. But transitioning to a little bit of a different topic now.
Right, so we kind of want to talk about kind of where we're heading with the channel. Now, obviously, we did pick up a project vehicle there in that 91 Land Cruiser, and we've been making a lot of content on that. It's still on its way to catching on. You know, I think we're definitely known as Tacoma guys more than just Land Cruiser guys and everything else, at least as of right now. But hopefully that'll kind of pick up speed here before too long. But that's really what we've been doing the majority of wrenching on as of lately, and we kind of want to change that a little bit. When we first started the channel, we kind of got your all's opinion on upcoming mods, and some things kind of came up with that that we don't really want to talk about right now. But we are kind of in the market for some new mods to add to our truck. Now, the last mods that we talked about getting were the lights that are LED pods to go in place of the fog lights, and we kind of decided against that because we run our fog lights a lot. You know, we are on back roads a lot and everything else. But when someone comes at us from the other direction, we don't have to cut those fog lights off because they are just normal fog lights. However, if we were running pods, it's not really legal to run pods, and that would result in us not being able to run fog lights essentially, and then we're riding around with less light, and that doesn't really make sense either. So I'm not totally against the LED lights or pods or anything like that. But I think if we do lights, I would like to do ditch lights. I have been looking at a couple different brands, and I'm certainly interested in ditch lights and everything else. And another possibility that we could add to the truck here is bed lights. So if you have an access cab, you may have noticed that you don't actually have a bed light switch. Here in Chad's Tacoma, since it is a double cab, he has a switch over there to the left of the driver, and you can turn on a light that comes actually beside your third brake light that illuminates the bed. But you don't have those on an access cab, and I'm kind of jealous of it. I would actually really love to have a bed light here for my truck, but there's all kinds of other possibilities. You know, a lot of y'all are very active on Tacoma World. We recognize that. You probably have way more ideas than we do, but if you have any ideas that you would like to see added to our trucks, please leave that in the comments section, and we'll be sure to add all that to our list. But it doesn't have to just be Tacoma parts. If you want to see any tools added to the list, if you want to see any camping gear or anything else added to the list that you would kind of like updates on and a review of, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. So as far as news around the industry for this week, we do have quite a bit, and a lot of it is actually Toyota news, but we'll get started here with Fiat Chrysler Association. FCA has released more details on the Jeep Wagoneer that we've all been asking for a long time, and it looks like they will actually be building that vehicle on the Ram 1500 platform of the next generation. So that next gen truck should be coming out probably for the 2019 model year, and the Wagoneer is going to be built on that architecture, which is really great news, and that will allow it to compete with the likes of the Tahoe, Suburban, and everything like that, that actually is a true truck-based SUV. You know, the only Fiat Chrysler SUV that's of any size currently is the Durango, but that's getting a little long in the tooth, and it's not really a truck-based SUV. It is a good bit softer than the Ram 1500, and is not really good at hauling or towing, basically for that reason. So it looks like they're going for a little bit more rugged route, which is absolutely great news for all these companies. They seem to be going more and more in favor of the crossover.
Right. So there is a little bit of Volvo news that I wanted to talk about, and that is in coming years, probably I believe is 2021 is what the news article said, we are going to be producing the Volvo XC90 here in the States, and this will be the only plant in the whole world that actually will be producing it. It's currently produced in Sweden, but in addition to that, they are going to be producing the Volvo S60 in that plant right beside it. And the Volvo S60 is currently only being produced in China, and that will be phased out in 2019, and they will consolidate both of those platforms because they are on Volvo's scalable architecture, I guess, model. So it will be easier for them to manufacture both of those vehicles there. And that plant, I believe, it's in one of the Carolinas. Maybe, I don't know if we wrote that down, but it's somewhere south of Virginia. That's all I know.
Right, and for a little bit other change in direction here, we actually have some more news about Cummins. So Cummins has been talking about replacing their 4BT motor, which is found in basically bread trucks originally, and then they were kind of sourced to build rock crawlers into Jeeps and Toyotas and everything else. But it is their diesel motor there that's fairly small and everything else, but the replacement for that is the R2.8 is what they're calling it, and they'll be taking orders for that later this week. It's actually September 29th is when they'll start taking orders for that. We haven't seen a price or anything like that, but they're basically selling it as a motor that you can put in a vehicle as a conversion. The R2.8 basically is a conversion motor. They're not really talking about it being in any factory vehicles as of yet, but they do realize that there's a huge market out there for people that are building rock crawlers and off-road vehicles and everything else, and that is Cummins' newest addition to that market.
Right, so this is Cummins' Repower program. This is their new crate engine program that they've been working on for quite a few years now. And what you do get with this package is all the drive accessories for the front, so like water pumps and alternators and power steering and everything like that. You do get lots of plug-and-play things, so you can get the crate engine along with all the accessories and hook it up to your vehicle, and it should in theory work. Now if you were to stick one of those in these new Tacomas, I know a lot of you want a diesel in these Tacomas, and you know, part of us does too, but I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work with some of these newer vehicles, because when they've shown these engines in, I guess, out on the field and working in these vehicles, it is for the most part in Jeeps and these off-road vehicles like he had said. So it is remained to be seen wide range of what these are going to end up going in, but all I know for sure is for 2017 they are limiting the production to 500 units. So when they do have the order open up on September 29th, if you want one, get on their website very, very early, because I believe it's 9 a.m. in the morning that they're going to be starting that.
So we'll finish up here with some Toyota news this week, and we'll start with the RAV4. Now, the RAV4 does have quite a few trim levels now, and they are expected to have a refresh here within the next couple years, but adding to those trim levels this year will be the Adventure. So the RAV4 Adventure is basically just a dress-up kit. It's really no more off-road capable or anything like that. You know, it is more of a crossover still, but it does add some pretty cool body cladding and some different colors and everything else, and kind of makes it look a little bit more sporty. And the RAV4 Adventure will be starting at $27,700, so it is kind of right in the middle there, you know, right in the middle between the base and the limited trim levels, and it should be a really good option for those people that are interested in that sort of a thing. Also with RAV4 news, Chrissy, my girlfriend, actually did get a new RAV4 this week, and we'll be, I'm sure, having that on the channel here before too long, but we are really excited about that, and congratulations to her.
Right, so in addition to that Toyota news, Toyota is supposed to be coming out with some sort of announcement relating one of their plants here in the coming days, and as a matter of fact, it could be within the next 24 hours that we see something about it. And the plant in question here is the Huntsville plant in Alabama, which does produce a good bit of Toyota's motors. So this is the plant that makes the Tundra, Tacoma, Sequoia, Camry, RAV4, and Highlander engines. So all 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, and 8-cylinder engines just about in Toyota's lineup. So we're not exactly sure what this is going to be, whether they're going to announce an increase in production or a new motor that they're going to produce there, but we'll be sure to keep you all updated on that and perhaps next week.
Exactly. So the last Toyota story here that we have for this week is some pretty exciting news about Toyota sports car lineup. Now, back really before Chad and I were around,
right.
Toyota had 3 main sports cars. They had the MR2, they had the Celica, and then they had the Supra. Now, obviously, there's been talks about the Supra coming back here for a long time, and they've had the FT1 concept that everyone's super excited about, and hopefully the new Supra will be joining the lineup here before too long, but there's now talk about the Celica actually making a return as well. Now, a lot of people are saying that the MR2 may be replaced by the GT86, or maybe the GT86 is the new Celica, or who really knows what the deal is with that. But currently there are only 1 and about to be 2 Toyota sports cars in the lineup, but it looks like Toyota does plan on having a 3rd join the lineup once again. So super exciting news there, and we'll be sure to keep you up to date with more information as that comes out. But that pretty much wraps up everything we have to talk about for this week, at least in terms of news and the trucks. Now, for future videos, we are really interested in doing frequently asked questions videos again. If you have any ideas for those, please leave all your questions and comments or concerns in the comments section of the videos. As always, we do try to get back to those as soon as possible, so be sure and do that. And we've also been considering doing a live stream, so if you have any interest in us doing a live stream, please let us know down there in the comments as well, and we'll be sure to do that. Like I said, we've been doing a lot of different stuff here, more than what we just started out doing. You know, it's not just Tacoma videos anymore. It is a lot more wrenching, and we're about to start doing a whole lot more wheeling as soon as we get the Land Cruiser fixed. But that's pretty much the direction we're heading, and we really appreciate your all's support. So thank you all very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
See you guys.